Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Kayla Lachey, aka your virtual fitness bestie, and today I have a TEVEO try on haul for you guys. I'm actually wearing one of the pieces right now from the new Contrast Stripe collection, and I don't have too many pieces to go over with you guys today. I think there's just 3 different collections actually that I'm going to be reviewing for you, which I'm really excited. I love some loungewear, and this is my second time collaborating with TEVEO, so I'm still super new to the brand, trying to figure out what collections are my go-to, trying to figure out what sizes I prefer. So we're going to be getting into all of the sizing recommendations, preferences, what I really think as first impressions as a whole when it comes down to TEVEO. If you guys want to check out TEVEO and you want to support my YouTube channel so I can keep bringing you guys these reviews, make sure you guys utilize the discount code LACHEY10 over on TEVEO so you guys can get 10% off your next order. And I'm going to be reviewing some items that you guys will be able to find with their new Contrast Stripe collection, starting with these scrunchies. I really like these. There's going to be 3 colorways coming out: butter yellow, ice blue, and blossom. So they let me pick out one set to try, and I definitely wanted to go for the ice blue. There's going to be a bra, a tank top, which I'm wearing today, a short sleeve off the shoulder t-shirt, as well as an off the sleeve long sleeve shirt, the scrunch sculpt shorts, oversized shorts, wide leg joggers, and matching headbands. So you can literally be in a cute stripe set from head to toe, which I love a matching set. Some people love a mix and match, but give me some hair accessories to tie it all together and I'm good. I really like that these come together as like a set of 2. So there's a solid color and then a stripe little scrunchie. Love that. I love that these are like a satiny fabric because that's the only material that I put in my hair as a curly natural. So love these. I definitely think more brands need to come out with matching hair accessories because the girls love that. So that was a really fun touch to add into the mix. So let's start with this tank top since I have it on. I have not been able to take it off since I did my try on portion because it is that comfortable. I have learned that I love and prefer more full coverage than like a sports bra, for example. So if there is an option to get a set with a tank top and then some leggings or whatever, I'm picking the tank top. So I really like that this one has a built-in shelf bra. I think that is the standard. More people need to go ahead and come out with long line full-length tanks with built-in shelves and cup pads. You can indeed remove the cup pads in this top. The straps are more thin, so I would say this could be light support if you have a fuller, bigger bust, but you can also adjust these as well to tighten them up and get the best fit for your shoulder drop. I think these are so comfortable. The straps are not digging in or cutting in whatsoever. I honestly don't even feel them on. It also has a nice scooped lower back detailing on this tank. I think this is the same thing, but it has like a scoop in the back so you get to see more of your muscle definition. This I would totally wear on my next back day. I think it just looks really good to have a tight fitted top and then a bigger, baggier bottom. And I love that this is like a hip bone length, so it definitely does cover my waistband of like leggings or anything like that perfectly. So I definitely recommend this tank. I think it has to be one of my favorite things from this video, the try on haul that you guys are going to see today. I got mine in a size small, and I would say if you're in between sizes like myself, I'm a small, I'm a medium, a schmedium, then you can go with your smaller size as it is very stretchy. And the built-in shelf bra is not too tight where that ribbed band is underneath the bust. So I'm really happy with my size small. I think that it doesn't cut in anywhere, doesn't show any peanut butter. Like, it's such a good fit, and I would totally grab and snag this in more colors, especially in the striped contrast because I think it's super duper cute. I also ended up going for these, which are their new wide leg joggers. They can also be transformed into more of like a cuffed cinched situation. At the bottom it has this toggle, so in the try on you guys will be able to see where this falls on me. These only come in 1 inseam, so they're also 100% cotton, so keep that in mind. I think for me, I got a size medium. I could go with a size large to get a little extra inseam length and a little bit more of a baggier fit. Cotton tends to shrink, so I would not put this in the dryer at all. The inside is that terry lining, so this is good for the gym. I would totally wear this paired with this tank top to the gym for a cardio day, sauna day, upper body day. I think it would be super cute. And this is a heavier weight fabric. like a heavyweight cotton, which I personally love when it comes to wearing in the gym. Definitely makes it more durable. It's 27.5 inches. This is a medium. The waistband is pretty snatching and definitely tapered. So if you want to size up and you're worried about the waistband being too loose, I really wouldn't. Like, I would prefer this in a large because it still has nice bagginess and puckering on the leg area, but the waist, it's not going to be too like loose and too slipping and sliding. So it's about 13 inches across there, and then 12.5 inches for the overall rise. They also have an inner draw cord where you can tie and adjust these, and I would say that the waistband is definitely more fitted, and then it gets very loose and baggy in the pants. So I feel like if you were to size up, the waistband itself, like the elastication, is that what I'm trying to say, would still fit you nice. And again, you still have the ability to tie it with the draw cord. So I think I could get away with a large, and I might actually prefer the large. I really do like the big pockets that this has. They're actually really deep. So 2 side pockets, and then there's one on the back of the cheek here. Their logo is also embroidered in, which is really nice. Not gonna go or peel away in the wash. And all in all, I do think that these contrast joggers are worth the money. They've come out before in solids. We've seen them in like the Leo collection, and now with the stripe, I think is super cute. If you love prints, you love patterns, especially in your lounge, which I feel like a lot of brands don't really do printed loungewear, then you will probably really like the TEVEO brand because they always have some interest and some flavor and seasoning when it comes to their activewear and loungewear. So I would also have to say that these joggers are a top pick in this haul today, alongside with these scrunchies. So perfect combo, spoiler alert. Definitely a 10 out of a 10 for me for an outfit. I think it looks so good with these baggier joggers, especially the way that they pucker out on the sides where the pockets are. Kind of gives you like a curvier, more hip look, paired with a tighter top, just gives you such a nice silhouette. And they also came out with the off-the-shoulder long sleeve top. Again, there's also a short sleeve option, but as we're going into fall and winter, I thought I would opt for this. Now, I'm typically a crew neck girl. I love a hoodie, but I love a good crew neck. There's just nothing in the way to like mess up the back of my hair. But I thought this would be good as there is no hoodie or crew neck option. This has a very wide, I would say like a boat neck line, which isn't necessarily my go-to cut. I don't think it 100% flatters my like shoulders and everything like that. There's also like barely any stretch. This is cotton, so not a lot of stretch to this. It's not the most soft or comfiest thing to just wear in lounge. Definitely could be worn in the gym as it is very durable, kind of a rough, I don't want to say scratchy, but it has some grit to it. So keep that in mind. I also got this in a medium. So it's pretty wide, not very long. I would say it looks like a long crop style, kind of hits you and hovers around the hip bone area. No skin is exposed though with the joggers. It says it's made of a soft fabric. I really don't think this is as soft. It's not even as soft as the joggers. So I'm curious to know why this is still rough. Mind you, I washed it with fabric softener. I did put it in the dryer and it didn't pill or anything like that. So, and I don't think it shrunk either. But it is wide, it is oversized. If you're thinking about, oh, if you should size up or size down, it just depends on how you like your stuff to fit. I got my medium, like my normal lounge size medium. I typically would never get a lounge piece in a size small. I typically am the girl that always size up. I always say the bigger the better. But I do know from experience that the contrast like lounge pieces tend to run pretty big. So you could go with your bigger size if in between, or size up one size to get an even more baggy, loose fit. I did notice though that these sleeves aren't super long. If you have really long limbs like myself, you might find that this is a little bit short, a little bit of an awkward fit. It's not necessarily like a 3/4 length sleeve, but it kind of just like hovers around my wrist in like an odd way. I'm also the type of girl that loves my sleeves to come over my hands, kind of like the Ariana Grande vibe, but that's just personal preference. So for that reason, maybe I would actually prefer this piece in a size large, like a size up. But if I had to pick between the Stripe collection, the tank top, or this off the shoulder top, it's not really off the shoulder on me, and I think it's just because my shoulders are maybe more broad versus the photos that they were showing. Like I felt like if I wore it off the shoulder, it was kind of choking me on one side of my neck, I would just pick the tank top. Super cute, could wear it all year round, style it with other things like jeans. And this to me is giving like kind of like too preppy, maybe, I don't know, and not my style per se, but it is cute. I did wear it on Instagram, kind of draped around the shoulder as a layering piece with the tank top. It is super cute. You could also tie it around the waistline as well on the joggers with the tank top and have like a super cute layered look. They have the leggings and the shorts, which I didn't get in the stripe collection, but I do have the contrast leggings here in their regular line to review for you guys. I've only tried their femme leggings before, and after getting these, they kind of feel pretty similar. And these are also in a medium. I think I've learned my lesson with trying 2 different leggings, like different collections from them now, to know that I should go with my smaller size. As a girl that has a smaller waist and then bigger built quads, hammies, and glutes, I just think their fabrics are very stretchy and they kind of run a little bit big. So if you're in between sizes, I would say size down, as this is very stretchy, very thin, kind of slick. If you could see this like seamless material, there's not a lot of grit to this as a seamless like knit style fabric. I prefer something a little bit thicker that kind of holds me in a little bit and doesn't necessarily have too much stretch. But again, that's personal preference. I do think that you can weightlift in this line. They also offer these leggings in a scrunch version and then a non-scrunch. I got the one with the scrunch. I can't find the tag with the makeup. Oh, it's because they print them in. I low-key kind of like that because I hate tags when they get in the way. I always end up cutting them out anyway. But this is a blend of 10% elastane and 90% polyamide. And it says they're made in Turkey. These are just very stretchy, and being that these are supposed to be like a accentuation to your glutes and offer some lift and some contouring, if it's too big and there's too much stretch in the fabric, it's definitely going to shift around a lot, especially when you're in the gym, lifting, squatting, bending over, doing RDLs, whatever, walking around, doing the Stairmaster. This contouring is a very small ribbed panel, and the glute space, like the glute pockets, are quite long. So I would say this would work really well if you have longer glutes. I have shorter glutes and I got my bigger size. So for me, when they were on, it was, and the fabric being really stretchy and thin and slick to feel, it just didn't work for me. Maybe in my size down, I will try them out and see if it's a better fit and if I would wear them to the gym, because I wasn't really a fan of how the femme leggings when working out just shifted, and they have a very similar silhouette with this ribbing. The gusset style, I like the gusset. It's very comfortable. It's like a small oval fit, and the scrunch is pretty short, so I'll include measurements for you guys. The contrast leggings, also in a size medium, has a pretty nice tapered waistband. Also has a waistband width of 11.25 inches, as well as a rise of 8 inches, and these are pretty high on me. 23.5 inches in length. The pocket contour detailing's pretty intense off body, so you can definitely see more of that ribbing underneath the glutes. The glute pocket space, also nice and spacious. The scrunch itself is pretty short, which I like. It's 2 inches. And then the overall length from the bottom of the seam on the waistband where it curves to the gusset is 3.5 inches. I personally think I would have preferred a size small. These were really stretchy and a thinner material, kind of slick in feel as well. So I think it would have gave me more lift and compression in my smaller size as someone that is in between. I did like the waistband and how the top seam kind of goes into a point. It definitely did flutter the upper glutes. My issue really fell with that contouring underneath the glute space, because it just wasn't sitting and staying in place the way that I would have liked it to offer that compression and that lift. If this ribbing was a little bit longer, more extended, it probably would have been a more tighter fit, would have offered some more compression and lift to the glute space, and would have been more flattering in comparison to other leggings that I've tried and reviewed for you guys on my channel. This just isn't a go-to for me. It also is a really wide scoop. I think if it was brought in a little bit with you know, me sizing down, it would have been nicer. But there's almost like 3 different materials going on. So it's the ribbing and then like a smaller panel of like, I want to say waffling around that ribbing. And then obviously the glute pocket space is thin and slick. And then it goes to that same thin, slick fabric on the leg area. A lot of like glute situating leggings like this I've tried have like that slick glute pocket space, and then the body of the legging is a tighter, more like PK knit style, which I think is more my preference because it just compresses the whole leg and stays better in place, and then your glutes have space to kind of sit like a shelf and breathe, not be pancaked out. But it's like all stretchy, all soft, all over, and it just doesn't work with my body type and my workout style, if you will. I think this would be a great legging for yoga, stretch, Pilates, that type of a thing, because it does move really well with your body. And the waistband is a vertical ribbed waistband, just once here, and it's definitely more ribbing in the back area until it goes into that little seam in the back, which I did really like. And I do like that their logoing is like embroidered because it's not going to pill or wash away. But the contrast line also is known to have this contrast stitch on the top of the waistband. So I'm interested to know what this would fit like in my smaller size. Would it cut? Would it dig in? Because it didn't in my size medium. But I'm also the type to not really love a top seam. I just find that it can dig and cut in certain places. And it's also not the most comfortable feature, if you will, on a waistband. I almost just prefer a regular ribbed waistband, no top seam like this. So that's also personal preference. It does definitely give that like fun little look and that touch. Style wise, I think it's fine. I don't really love it or hate it, but it's more about the comfortability for me and the fact that I have a shorter torso. This does come up a little bit above my natural waistline. I would say this is, I don't want to say ultra high rise on me, but borderline ultra high rise, and then in between a high rise fit. And I think I definitely prefer more of a mid rise with my proportions and just trying out leggings and testing them out, just knowing what works and flatters my body type the best. But yeah, if you're looking for a really stretchy legging, then this would probably be a brand for you. And again, I opted for the scrunch variation, but if you're also someone that doesn't like a scrunch, then you can go for that option as well. The inside of the scrunches look a little bit different than your typical leggings. These look very similar to the femme leggings that I reviewed in my last TEVEO YouTube review, where it has that little loop detail. I don't feel that at all when it's on. And I would say the scrunch itself has more stretch than most scrunch leggings that I've tried in the past before. Usually they're like stitched and sewn in, and they don't really have like this elastication. So maybe that's why I didn't really feel it, because it has that stretchy elastic strip of fabric in between the cheeks. So all in all, I'm kind of like meh about these leggings. I would be more interested to try the TEVEO Lift collection. I think that would definitely be the collection that I would prefer, just based on the images and the features and the fabric and like the lift. So I'm definitely curious to try that out. But I got these in the shade Mocha, and I thought that was a cute name. Love the color. Again, this is the same tank that I have on right now. I can just show you guys that it has the built-in shelf. Again, I got this in a size small. Really nice coverage. I think this is such a good piece. Would reorder this in more colors. And this material, I almost wish they did their leggings in the same fabric as the tank, because they're not the same. This tank gives like that PK knit fabric where there is a little bit more grit. Still very stretchy, but it has more grit. If you guys can see, I'm trying to get a close-up of like the weaving, versus the contrast leggings are just very thin. So here's a little bit of a punch through. These weren't really sheer. They're not a shiny fabric, which is nice. I don't do shiny leggings, and they're not too thin like a pantyhose or something like that. So I do think these are squat proof on me, especially with a neutral underneath. But I wish they did the legging, at least the body of the legging, in the same fabric as this tank top, and then left the glute space alone, because it's fine where it's like super thin and stretchy. I think that would have definitely offered a little bit more lift and compression and would have stayed better in place for me. So that's just how I feel about those pieces. Again, I'm still new to TEVEO, so I'm still learning about their collections and their fabrics and what I like and the sizing. It's really tricky when you're new to a brand to find what collection you gravitate towards the most and what the sizing is to fit your proportions and your preferences the best. So the other collection I got is their soft straight legs. So again, this is a whole nother material, and these come in a tall inseam length. I got the tall small, that's what they sent me, so I'm assuming they run big if they sent me a size small. These are in the tall inseam length, and they measure 32.5 inches, which I feel like they could have been a little bit longer, especially for a straight leg pant that is known to kind of ride up and bunch in the crotch. These ones are also slightly tapered, and the waistband width on these is 12.5 inches. The overall rise is 8 inches. So I would say for these, size down if in between. The waistband has some stretch, but it has a top seam, like a top elastic. You can see it, like a 1/2 inch band. I personally don't prefer that when it comes to my leggings. I would say these are more like a lounge legging, so I definitely wouldn't want that when I'm trying to lounge around, having something tight kind of cut in. Mind you, this is in my smaller size. It's still pretty comfy, but after a while it does feel a little bit restricting on. So my personal preference, again, we're all different, is to not have a top seam. But these do come in sizes extra small to extra large, and a regular inseam and a tall inseam. So I'll include measurements for you guys so you guys know how long these are. I wish these were a little bit longer though, because with straight legs, you know that they kind of gather and bunch in the crotch and the rise, and it's going to eat up some of that inseam space, especially when you want to throw a shoe on with it or you want to work out in this. I don't think this is workout material. I do think that it is thicker, and it is a brushed fabric. I didn't think it was sheer when I squat tested it, and I'm like a medium complexion, and I had a neutral underneath. But if it sweats, I think it will sit in the sweat. Like, it's not as breathable or lightweight and airy. Definitely has some heavy weight to it. And this is made up of 75% polyester, 25% elastane. And the same waistband is the same fabric on the body, just double aligned, again with that top seam. And it has that contrast stitch. So they kind of go with like the contrast line. I'm indifferent about the stitch on the side. My main thing was that top seam in the inner of the waistband. I did think that these were comfortable and flattering on the glute space. The back isn't as aggressive. It's not like super deep V, but I do think that these are more of a mid-rise fit on me. Like, it hits me at my natural waistline, maybe a little bit below, which was really nice. I felt like it was a little bit more flattering than the last leggings that I just showed you guys, and I love a straight leg. And this is in the color Blossom. I also got their soft cami top from the same collection, and this is also in a size small. So this one is definitely more of like a cropped style. While I have a short torso, like, this still covered the waistband. Like, that's how short my torso is. So if you have a longer torso, maybe it will be more of a cropped style on you. This I did like. It had a built-in shelf bra with removable cup pads. It's also made out of 75% polyester and 25% elastane. And this strap is a little bit thicker. I think I like the straps. Actually, I love the straps so much more on this style tank top. It's a lot thinner, and this one's just a little bit wider. I would say 1/2 inch in width, and it kind of twists in the back and is attached to the tank with this wide hook, like round metal bit. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I felt like it was kind of pressing, like a little bit of pressure on my back, and I found that because this is all connected, the straps were like super twisted. Like, it's kind of hard to get them to lay flat. I just have to play with it, but it was kind of hard to do when it was behind me, if that makes sense. So if I had to pick between two different style tanks, I'm picking the contrast tank top. It's a little bit more comfortable, and it also didn't have like a tightness at this bottom seam here. It was a little bit snug paired with the top seam of the waistband on these leggings, which is a little bit too much for loungewear for me personally. But I did like the cup area, fit really nice, didn't have peanut butter or spillage or anything like that. But this tank I would definitely wear on its own with like sweatpants. I think would be super cute. And it also has the same style logo on the back here, TEVEO, and the rubberized logo, and that contrast stitching underneath the bust line. So I got to try a little bit of everything this time around. Again, the contrast collection, love. I think that's probably my favorite when it comes to like the lounge. As far as like the workout sets, they're okay. Would I like reach for them over everything else in my activewear collection? No, I wouldn't, simply because of the fit and like the fabric, like the stretchiness of it is a little too thin and too stretchy for my preferences. And then the top seam situation. I don't think the lift has a top seam, so I'm itching to hopefully get my hands on a set to review for you guys, like shorts and leggings. I wonder if they have a tank top. If you've tried the lift, comment below. Let me know what you guys think in terms of sizing up or sizing down. If in between, let me know. And there's also the all-rounder collection that I'm also itching to try because they also have the straight legs. But my thing is, I think it's a different fabric than the soft range. So those are two collections that I think I would probably prefer over these. And it's good that they have different options and different collections with variety, different fabric makeups and silhouettes, so that more people have options, because we're all different and we all like different things, have different proportions. But I do have to say, I love that they have tall inseam options available, and I love that their stuff is like multifunctional, like the joggers being straight leg or being able to be worn cuffed. I love that they have matching hair accessories, fun prints, bright bold colors, but also a mix of neutrals, scrunch options, and non-scrunch options. So I do truly think that they have a little bit of something for everybody. You just have to find and figure out what that collection is for you. And that's where I'm at with TEVEO. So I'll be able to link you guys again down below to TEVEO so you guys can shop and check them out. They are a German-based company, so definitely use the discount code LASHAY10 at the checkout, because it can be a little bit more expensive if you're also based in the US like myself. So I'll see you in my next video very soon. Thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!